Welcome to Love and the Marriage Squeeze, the podcast. I'm your host, Anyetia. Thanks for joining me. I'm here with a very special guest, a new friend that I'm so excited to introduce to you today. Shundria Riddick is here with me today. Hello, Shundria.
Hello, Anyetia. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Let me tell folks a little bit about you. Shundria is a speaker and licensed professional counselor who shares a message of hope and freedom. She holds a master's degree in counseling and is licensed in the state of Texas. She spent the last several years in the trenches of parenting, working, and growing her own business. And like the typical human, she has juggled all of these things with the emotional and mental battles of life's daily issues. Now, we know that's a lot, right? Because life is a lot.
Yes.
So Shundria currently has a robust private practice in Coppell, Texas, that offers virtual counseling, educational groups, and life coaching. Speaking and writing have been her passions for years, and she has the phenomenal ability to disarm any audience as she encourages them to live a life of freedom. Freedom!
Yes.
That is a lot, and that is amazing that you're able to connect with people and able to help them get through life's difficulties and just find a sense of freedom, I'm sure, and purpose and overcoming all the daily struggles.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And it's fun. I enjoy it because I am people. And I go through the same battles as everyone else. So I enjoy being able to connect with others and encourage them.
That's fantastic. We need that. You know, we need, I'm always happy to talk to different people and sort of glean from their knowledge and understanding. And I think that as Black women, we really need to, you know, have those moments where we have a community of other Black women who understand our struggles. And so you as a Black mental health professional, Black female mental health professional, you're in a wonderful space to help those of us who need it and who seek that and are looking for a woman of color to understand some of the struggles that we go through.
Yes. And I consider that a privilege, right? To be able to walk with others, especially identify with some of the same struggles, the same of battles that we have just in everyday life. So I really consider it a privilege to be able to stand next to other Black women and walk with them through some difficult times.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that. I love that because we need that, right?
Yes.
Being able to hold hands through all of it.
Yes.
So we are in the season. It is the holiday season, and woo woo. Let me tell you, I'm actually looking forward to the holidays this year because things have been busy for me. And, you know, I'm like, I'm just going to rest. I'm going to like kick back and enjoy the holidays. I am. I love them, but I've also found them stressful sometimes and overwhelming. But this year I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy to just kick back. So are you excited about the upcoming holidays? Are you a big holiday person?
I think I am. I enjoy time with family and I enjoy the time not working really. But I do enjoy time making memories with family. Yes, I do enjoy them. Yeah.
Good. What are some of your favorite holiday traditions that bring you joy?
You know what? When my kids were little, we, did all the things for Santa and they're big now. So they're old and whatever. So the night before Christmas is usually special. We're usually, eating, cooking, eating, watching a movie or just hanging out together in pajamas. And then the next morning, it's always an early morning, always early, regardless of how big they get. They wake up early because they want to open the gifts very early. So that's pretty much it. And just laying around and eating, really. Nothing big and formal.
Laying around and eating. I know that's right.
Yes.
Because we're still coming up on Thanksgiving. So there is a lot of eating to be done in the near future.
Yes. Lots of eating. And we're excited about that, but lots of eating and sleeping.
Now, what's your best holiday dish? What do you make that like it's a grand slam every year? Everyone loves it. They come back and they ask you, will you please make this again?
Well, I love my macaroni and cheese. It's fantastic, if I should say so myself. And girl, oxtails. I know that's not a traditional, I make them for Christmas. I know that's not a traditional ham. What sometimes we do have ham, but oxtails for Christmas.
Ooh, that's
I
fantastic. So
know.
now we know, y'all. So if you want some good oxtails, you want some mac and cheese, we are going to Shundria's house. We're
Yeah.
going to eat good.
But the funny thing about that is that I'm plant-based.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, you don't make plant-based oxtails, do you?
No, ma'am. Like that is the day where I risk it all. I throw it all out the window and I will eat. I pay for it. I pay for it, but yes, ma'am, I will eat. I will just Christmas is the day that I say, okay, I'm going to eat these oxtails and I'm going to eat some of this macaroni and cheese. I pay for it, but it's worth it.
Okay, I'm not mad at you. Like, I love that you are going to go ahead and just enjoy your thing because,
Yes,
like, it is what it is.
it is
I
what it is.
I understand because I have my own little diet too, which is not sometimes probably doesn't make much sense. But like I'm mostly pescatarian. I do eat turkey
Okay.
sometimes,
Okay.
and so for Thanksgiving I can enjoy a little bit of turkey. But yeah, that's kind of my thing, and I would probably love to do plant based or go completely vegetarian. But I saw people like I love sushi too much. Like I just
Mm.
there's certain things I'm just not going to give up, and like sushi is one of them. So.
Good for you. Yes. And
I'm
that's
sticking
fine.
with
Yes.
I'm sticking with that. So I know that holidays bring us joy, being around people, our family, the loved ones. Holidays bring me a lot of joy. Just being around my family and being able to catch up is always a good time. The food is always good. My family we throw down. So it's fantastic. But I know that some people don't always feel that joy around the holidays. Like some of
Mm.
us can get a little down during the holidays, and I've heard it's called the holiday blues. Can you tell us what exactly are the holiday blues?
Yes. Holiday blues are like a temporary feeling of depression or sadness or anxiety around the holiday season. So it usually starts around November, pick up, and it picks up during Christmas and usually ends at the beginning of the year. Um, but it's something that many people experience during, this season.
Yeah, and I mean, what are some of the typical reasons that people are, feeling a little bit down around the holidays? Like, you know, I'm sure there are many different reasons. I know at one point for me, holidays weren't so joyful because my mom had passed away.
Yeah.
And it was like, the first couple years without her were definitely difficult, as they talk about the new normal, just trying to get through the holidays. So I know that for me is one of those things that kind of has brought me down over the holidays before. What are some of the other reasons that people feel a little depressed over the holidays?
Yes, losing loved ones is one. Yes, of course, but also shopping, financial difficulties, unemployment. Many people have lost their jobs. They've been laid off. The financial situations have changed. Family situations have changed. Divorce. People move from one state to another. Relocation. Many different reasons people go through that, but mainly it's some big transition during the time, whether financial or physical. But many people have so much going on, and holidays are reminders of things that have changed.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that. I do. I feel that because just thinking about the holidays growing up as a kid and like how it's just not the same. Like I don't want to go back to being a little kid, but the holidays were definitely, I think, very different when I was a kid. And when you grow up, you've just got the different stressors, just being an adult and just dealing with different life pressures that kind of make it definitely a little bit different, where it's not sort of that carefree lifestyle of being a kid. Although I know a lot of youth actually are a bit stressed now, because we live in a different world than when I was little.
Mhm.
So, what are some of the symptoms of the holiday blues? Like, what should people look for? What are the signs?
Well, one of the signs is just depression, feeling of isolation, loneliness, being alone, um, and that feeling of just dread. I really don't want to go, hesitation about being with others, being around others. and just a fear of not meeting up to the expectations that you have. Right. So just kind of anticipating already not meeting expectations and not having enough money and having those difficult conversations that you don't want to have and being around certain people. Just that anticipation, that feeling of heaviness and dread about the upcoming activities.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that. Just that idea
Yeah.
of, people, like the people you're going to interact with,
Yes.
or,
Yes.
not having the money that you want to, give your kids the big lavish Christmas or what have you. So those are some of the signs that we could be looking out for. Okay. Are there any other sort of signs or symptoms, or just kind of not feeling ourselves or anything else that would
Just
kind of cue us in?
fatigue. Yeah, fatigue, having that sense of fatigue and tiredness, wanting to sleep, and sometimes sleeplessness, not being able to sleep during the night, changes in your eating, hunger, maybe more hungry, or the lack of an appetite, and just difficulty concentrating, overthinking about what's coming up. So just that difficulty being able to stay focused.
Focus, focus, focus.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Because I sort of feel like a lot of times, and I meditate, I practice yoga, and the idea of focusing and concentrating and being present is huge in those practices.
Yeah.
Because so often, or when our minds start running around in circles, it just creates more anxiety and stress, like that restless mind. And so I can
Right.
imagine even thoughts would help to, or not help to, but
Yes.
so exacerbate maybe sometimes
Yeah.
some of our restless thoughts, or thoughts of just depression or what you don't have or lacking, or just the negativity that kind of pops up might also induce some of that depression. Is that the case?
Yes. Yes. We have these habits of how we respond to stress. So without even knowing, we go into autopilot. So if we have something that triggers like a thought that says, we have to go and get asked those same questions we're asked every year, or, having conversations that we don't want to have, our bodies go into autopilot because we respond to stress the same way all the time. So some of that is overthinking, racing thoughts, and we kind of go through the motions without realizing that's what we're doing. So a lot of the indicators of the, tight belly, the chest, the, difficulty breathing, or fast paced breathing, or nervousness, our bodies tell us what our minds are doing. A lot of the times we can look at our bodies and listen to our bodies and, remind ourselves, about the thoughts. So, um, just that mind body, like you're saying, is really important. But yeah, just thinking of that can create that automatic response and make you go into a stress response.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, because just the stress response, and then just stopping to slow down, breathe, catch your breath,
Yeah.
see what's going on with the body, kind of checking in. To me, that helps definitely to eliminate stress, or kind of stop the mind from going around in circles,
Yes.
carrying on.
Racing.
Yeah, knowing that, okay, wait, let me just come into the present moment. So, what are some of the things that we can do to sort of prime ourselves, for feeling more joy in this holiday season, and, kind of not getting down in the dumps? Like, what can we do to kind of like stay joyful and stay up?
One, tell yourself the truth, right? Tell yourself the truth about what your triggers are during the holidays, the things that you don't like, the things that you do enjoy, and make a plan for what you want. Sometimes we just go into holidays thinking that we'll get there and then we can change it when we're there. Sometimes it just takes preparation, having a plan. These are the things that I want to do. These are the three things that I want to avoid. These are answers to questions that I may get asked, or the questions that I get asked every year. I can plan. I can have a plan before I go to confront some of that, and then ask yourself what you're needing. How am I feeling and what I need? And and be truthful about that. Not the things that you expect, that perfect, ideal thing way that things are supposed to be, but actually telling yourself the truth about what is real, what I can attain, the plan that I can make and execute, but really telling yourself the truth.
The truth. The
The
truth.
truth.
You hear that, y'all? The truth. Tell the truth. Oh, is that the truth will set you free?
Yes, it sure will every single time.
Amen now. Amen.
Yes, yes. Because we
Oh,
tell ourselves so many things because we want the perfect thing to happen, right? We want the perfect holiday. And many of us have not had that perfect holiday yet. Every year we keep trying over and over and over again, but we don't necessarily get it any of the years. We've never attained it. So we have to tell ourselves the truth about what we can attain, what we can do, what we can afford, and the truth about our time.
I like it. I like it. Because then that seems to me like it would create or reduce the stress that we
Yes.
feel when we're just open about what we can do, what we will, what we do expect. It makes a whole lot of sense. And so how does that translate? If you can tell us a little bit more about how does that translate a little bit more into, just having joy and kind of fending off those holiday blues?
Well, I think, knowing what holidays mean to you and making it meaningful, right? So I think you have to kind of create your own meaning. Many of us carry on family traditions that we just do just because we've done it every year and it doesn't bring us, any joy. So really creating your own traditions, defining joy and executing in a manner that feels comfortable for you, having your own plan, doing it the way you want to do it. I know Aunt so and so and Uncle so and so want you to come over and play that game that you really don't like playing or having conversations that you really don't want to have. But you can have a plan. You can have a plan to say, hey, guys, I'm here. I'm here for 30 minutes. I just wanted to come over and say hi and hug everybody's neck. And then and go home or go to the next event. But you can make your own plan and have your own tradition that you will enjoy yourself.
I love that because to me, traditions are important, but I do love the idea of creating new ones when the old ones no longer fit or they've been outgrown or outdated. It's time
Yes.
for some new traditions.
Yes.
And so I was just telling one of my aunts that the other day. I said, it's time for a new tradition. I said, I want a new tradition for Christmas. And she's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know, but I need something new.
Something different. Yes.
I need
Yes.
something different. And she gave me a couple suggestions, and I was like, okay, let me roll that around. But I definitely feel that because for me, there's also, I get bored. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I get bored. When we do the same thing every year, year after year after year after year after year after year after year, I get a little bored. And
Yeah.
then I'm not expecting or not as excited about the holidays as I want to be. And granted, that's on me because it's up to me to create my own excitement and to, enjoy my life in the way that I want to. But I think that I need a little something. I need, like you said, I need my own meaning for the holidays. And, for me, the meaning of the season is, peace, love, and Christmas is about Christ and about love and about brotherhood and all of those good things. And Thanksgiving is about gratitude. And I am very much into receiving that spirit of the holidays. But sometimes, as a person who likes to do different things, I need a different way to express,
Yes.
my joy in the spirit of the holidays. And so definitely looking for some new traditions
Yeah.
this
That's great.
year.
That's great. Great. And it's always good to think of that ahead of time. Right. So, like now, start kind of trying to come up with things that may create meaning or maybe more fun and mix it up a little bit. Some families read the story of Christmas, the biblical story of Christmas. And sometimes you can get a remix. You can do it, let the young ones do their own, version of it or just something. It could be the same, but we can kind of mix it up a little bit to make it a little different and a little bit more exciting from year to year. Um, but yeah, it's good to try to create your own kind of meaning. That's good.
Absolutely. And you just taught me start early. Start early.
Early.
I'm
Yes.
listening to you. I got to start early. I'm already late.
Well, if you are, I am too, because it's, Thanksgiving and all the other things. So
Right, right, right. I don't know. We'll figure it out along the way, I guess. And
yes.
I'm not going to let myself stress out about it, though. I'll tell you
No,
that.
don't do it. Don't do it.
So we've talked about food and your fabulous macaroni and oxtails. And so the holidays, I know they're just like a big time of indulgence. So can you tell me, how does what we eat and drink play into our mood and wellness over the holidays? Is there a connection there that we need to be thinking about?
Yes. You know, when you eat a big meal and then you get tired and you just want to lay down and all that. Well, that's what food, you have to eat healthy to kind of have energy and focus and have some kind of a clarity in your thinking. And, drinking too much and eating too much takes all those things away from you. So you don't have as much patience. You don't think clearly. You can't stand, think clearly on your feet to have an appropriate answer. When it's too much food and too much alcohol, you may not respond in the most healthiest of ways. You may not be able to stay engaged or do all the tasks that you want to do in a timely manner. So yes, your food, what you're eating, we all indulge. I'm I'm guilty of that. But we do have to monitor ourselves and know our limits. Some of us every year drink too much, and then there's issues with drinking. People say things that it lowers those inhibitions. Alcohol does. So people say things that they probably wouldn't say if they weren't drinking. Do things that you probably wouldn't do if you were. So it's really good to make sure you're monitoring that intake so you can stay appropriate.
Ooh,
Stay appropriate.
appropriate. I like that because we know how some folks are not appropriate during the holidays and be acting out. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Not us though. We can't do that, right? We cannot do that.
we are not going to be acting out. We're gonna
No.
stay appropriate. But those are really good tips, like to watch what you eat because the food that we put in our bodies, it does have an energy,
Yes.
and it can zap the energy or it can make us feel more enlivened. So that makes a whole lot of sense. So you personally, what strategies do you typically use to manage and alleviate, holiday related stress or sadness too, if you ever feel a little bit down in the dumps around the holidays?
Yeah, I have to monitor the stories I tell myself about those days. I think the expectations associated, if I say, this has happened every year and I really don't want to through this because I know this is going to happen. That's a story that I tell myself, right? And sometimes I may act in a way that contributes to that story actually happening. So I have to tell myself different stories and give myself different outcomes and know what my limits are. And check my expectations of that day. Right. So I just have to make sure, like I said, I have to be honest with myself. And if I do, sometimes if there is depression, I miss my grandmother, she died maybe 5 years ago, actually. I keep thinking three because I feel like it's just been it hadn't been that long. But Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving reminded me of her. So I have to remind myself to tell the story of the joyful things that she did and the expectations that I have to be with family, my aunts and uncles and cousins, and the joy that brings being with them and my own kids. So telling myself good stories of when she was there and how that felt. And I try to recreate some of the things that she did and saying the things that she said and having the joy that she had. So just telling myself different stories help.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful because through that, you keep those memories alive. You keep her very present.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
we loved her so much. And so the holidays remind us a lot of her. So yeah, we just make sure she's present. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. What does
Yeah.
she normally do for the holidays that you just remember and maybe even try to replicate?
One, dessert. So we make sure we have a lot of
Okay.
desserts for Christmas.
Love
For
it.
Christmas, she cooked, loved her cakes and things like that. But laughter and joy, she had the best laugh. So we just make sure we're always laughing. My family, we love to laugh and play and clown around. So just making sure that it's joyful because that is exactly what she wanted. All of us to be happy and loved and seen. So we just make sure when we gather, we do that.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. It's honoring her and living in the spirit of the holidays for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. And I can totally relate to that. Having, my mom having passed away, I can totally relate to, the joy that she brought for the holidays and trying to replicate that in
Mhm.
ways that I can that make me joyous and help to, keep the memory of her very much alive
Yeah.
and present.
It's so wonderful and special. So special. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what do you have as far as advice for other people who might be, dealing with the holiday blues? Is there any advice you would give them that you haven't already mentioned? Or are there some other nuggets you'd like to share?
Well, just pay attention to yourself. If you know that you struggle with holiday blues, I would say just pay attention, know your triggers, and take care of yourself. Give yourself grace. And what I mean when I say that is give yourself grace and maybe don't go to the things or don't stay as long. If you struggle with some things, give yourself grace and not having to meet all the expectations of you and everyone else to make everyone else happy, but then you walk away sad or depleted. So give yourself grace and honor your own ability, your own strength, your own stamina, and do the things that nurture you.
Bring yourself some joy for the holidays.
Yes, bring yourself joy for holidays.
Bring yourself
Yes.
joy for the holidays. Yeah, I definitely think that's a really important point because so often we do try to, like you mentioned, do everything for other people and give them the best holiday ever, or just be present and all the things, but aren't really serving our needs and our own desires or caring for ourselves in a way that truly brings us joy. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
You're
that for
welcome.
sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So I know that some people may already have mental health issues that whether it's stress or anxiety or any other things that they might be a little bit prone to experiencing the holiday blues. With that in mind, is there any advice that you would give to those who are already, suffering with some issues and as they approach the holidays, would you give them any particular advice?
Yes, monitor, 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 monitor how you feel, monitor your routine, know eating and sleeping, and also stay in contact with your mental health professional. Make sure you are checking in and communicating with them. Most people who have been diagnosed with mental illness usually have had the treatment of a professional. So make sure you are making your appointments and keeping your appointments and making sure you are consulting your mental health professional.
All right, we got to stay in line and toe the line and do what we need to do.
Do what we need to do. Yes.
Do what we need to do to get through the holidays, and then have a little fun too. So, I always, like I said, I sometimes I get bored at the holidays. I want to do something new. Are there any particular hobbies or activities that you do that you think are a whole lot of fun and that are good to help maintain mental health and wellness during the holidays? Anything?
Yeah, we love going and looking at Christmas lights. So we go
Mm.
around the city and find neighborhoods and look at Christmas lights. Finding hot chocolate, going to whatever's outside in a couple of cities around here. They have like holiday drive-throughs that have lights, and you can get out your car and go ice skating. We do all of that. We really do indulge in the season. So whatever they have, we're trying to do. If it's a light show, if it's a concert, me and the kids, we're really trying to make sure that we are partaking in the season because it is once a year. That's it.
I
So we
love
try to make
that.
sure we hit some of those.
It
Yes.
sounds like y'all are having a party. Put me on the list. Put me on the list. Put me on the list for the light shows and the hot chocolate and the fall
Yes.
fairs. Put me on the list because I'll be sitting at home like, I need to go out and do something and have fun. Put me on the list.
You're definitely invited, always.
Because it's important to find things to do to really indulge in it. I think part of the thing that I need to watch for my own self is that the holidays, I recognize Thanksgiving, Christmas, they come and they go. And there's so much joy and celebration around them. And for me, there's almost like, what is that? Like the post vacation blues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
kind of just, after all of it, it's like you settle back in and it's like, I kind of want that joyous spirit more. Like there's sort of that build up to it. And I recognize before even
Yes.
going into it that, it's this uphill, joyous, and then it's kind of like, And so for me, I like to find ways to kind of keep that spirit going Because I mean, that's what it's supposed to be anyway, quite honestly, right? Like,
Right.
it's not supposed to be once a year we're gratitude, full of gratitude. And once a year we're thinking about brotherhood and love and Christ. It's supposed to be all the time, right?
Exactly.
So for me, it's like trying to figure out how to like take that energy and continue it on so that I don't have that kind of like post-holiday slump.
Yeah, that letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So
Yeah.
if you have any suggestions on that, I'm open.
Well, I think we have to go back to our expectations, right? So yeah, Christmas and Thanksgiving is once a year. But if we think about the life of Christ and how he lived his life, it was every day. Yes, we celebrate his birth, but really we celebrate his life. And that is every day. And, making sure you love on your family, love on those people who are around you, and you are giving and you are being responsible for your resources. And you are monitoring what you're eating and you're doing healthy things. So, finding joy in the little things, not these extravagant things, but just finding joy in life and living life with the people in your house. It doesn't have to be special, but just being grateful that I get to live life with these people in my house or my own family or my friends or my neighbors, just finding joy in everyday things.
Now that is the nugget, folks. She just said it. Finding joy in everyday things. Every day. Every day. I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for this. I'm wondering, are there any resources you can share with us to help us deal with the holiday blues? Anyone who might be feeling the holiday blues, are there any resources or, you want to tell us how to find you and all that good stuff?
Yes. So you can find me at ShundriaRiddick.com and at Shundria Riddick on all social media. Now, don't go looking for me on like X or Twitter, whatever. I don't think I've tweeted anything since 95. I don't know. But, Psychology Today is a resource. You can go on there. You can put in all your preferences and it'll populate, some options to go and find a therapist. Therapy for Black girls is a wonderful resource. You can go in there and I'll also set your preferences and find therapists that way. But if you say, I'm not trying to go to therapy, I just need resources and things like that. If you go on Google, make sure you go to reputable sites. You go to, American Psychological Association, American Counseling Association, National Association of Mental Health, things like that. Some reputable sites to get your information from. But most of all, I'm a therapist. Someone always recommend counseling that you go in and do a checkup and just, run over something, get somebody else's viewpoint or, question your own statements or your own expectations and run it by a mental health professional. So I'm going to always recommend counseling.
There you go. And watch those stories you tell yourself. That's another nugget I'm taking away from it,
Yes.
Shundria is like, watch those stories that you're telling yourself, which are so important. What we tell ourselves, what we believe, and then it turns into what we manifest and how we feel. And that we're joyful or not.
Yeah, we just create these stories that have these expectations, and we just want everybody in our world and our environment to get involved in our own story. So we just walk around handing out scripts and say, you say this, you do that. Mom, you do that. Brother, you do that. And then when they're off script, we get upset when actually it's not real. So just watch the stories and just, make sure, you question your expectations of the people in your life according, to your stories.
Fantastic. Well, those are wonderful words of advice, great knowledge that you shared here with us today. Shundria Riddick, thank you so much for being our guest here on the podcast, blessing this space and just giving us all that goodness and keeping us in line for the holidays.
Thank you so much. It is such a privilege being here with you and sharing your space. So thank you for holding space for me today. I really appreciate it, but I've enjoyed every single second. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And we will see you again on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. And thanks again to our guest, Shundria Riddick, who shared some excellent advice to help us experience more joy this holiday season. We'd love to have you back, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our website at themarriagesqueeze.com to to get the latest updates on the docuseries. The podcast is produced by yours truly and Jessica Estelle Huggins. A big thank you to our editors, Michelle Cantu, Christine Copeland, and Ray Williams. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm sending lots of love your way.